You know, it's my father. You know, he's helped me in Göteborg. So I think now it's better for him. So now he's helped me all the time. So it's my angel.
I've come in as the underdog and proved a lot of people wrong at the moment, and you know, I'll keep trying my hardest and always putting in 110%, and you know, I've got such good backing from all the English fans these days, and you know, it's amazing.
My life, you know, and I'm not trying to be stupid, you know. I feel comfortable that my break is okay. It's 2 weeks since. Whether or not I can race through the pain, I don't know.
Speedway Grand Prix from the MITAS Stadium here in the beautiful city of Prague, and it is an absolutely glorious evening here in this wonderful city, and we're expecting a terrific night of Speedway here. Kelvin Tatum alongside me, Nigel Pearson, talking you through the action tonight. And Kelvin, lots to look forward to here. Track looks well prepared, and we're looking forward to a good night of Speedway.
We are indeed. It's set fair. It's a beautiful evening, as you mentioned. It was pouring with rain earlier today, and they've had to work very hard on the track, and do believe that the rain may well actually have a positive effect on the racing surface. We've seen in the last 2 Grand Prix some spectacular stuff. Nicky Pedersen's here, he's ready to go, and I think we could well be in for another treat this evening.
Nicky Pedersen there with the brace on his broken arm. It's a break just above the wrist that Nicky sustained. You saw the pictures there in the opener from Gothenburg a fortnight ago. It was a horrendous crash.
It was a very spectacular crash in the first corner. He only did half of the practice yesterday, but he says he feels fine. And once again, never rule him out.
Well, we're going to introduce you to the riders very shortly here in the MITAS Stadium. Quite a few Polish fans have made the journey across there on the back straight. Quite a few from Great Britain as well that have flown out here for this event just 2 weeks before Cardiff. And this venue, by the way, is the venue for the World Cup in the summer as well. We'll remind you of that later in the evening. But right now, traditionally, in the build-up to the action, it's the host national anthem.
Zemský raj to na pohled, a to je ta krásná země, země česká, domov můj, země česká, domov můj.
Good atmosphere here in the MITAS Stadium this evening. It is the traditional home of the Czech Republic Speedway Grand Prix these days. And it's time to take you through the 18 riders, including the 2 reserves, starting with this guy at 18, Zdeněk Horub, who is a 17-year-old who has yet to appear in a Grand Prix race, but he'll be hoping to get his opportunity here this evening. And Václav Milik is the rider number 17. They are the 2 reserves then. Milik, who got 1 ride last year here in this meeting when he replaced Kenneth Pierre. Now, into the main field, the 16 riders, and Joseph Frank is a wild card, and what a meeting he had here last year, Kelvin.
Yeah, he put in a fine performance. He made the semi-finals, and he's a real crowd favourite. Track conditions are different this year, but I'm sure he's going to be inspired. Alice Drimmel coming in for the injured Darcy Ward, of course. A local man coming in for his home Grand Prix. Slightly ironic that, but he knows this place very well.
Ty Woffenden, who won the British Championship on Monday at Wolverhampton, he is absolutely flying. He was involved in that incident with Nicky Pedersen in the semi-final in Gothenburg, but he really is riding on confidence right now. Niels Christian Iversen having another good season, Kelvin.
Indeed he is. He's looking good, Niels Christian Iversen. He's fast. He's enjoying his return to the big time. And don't rule him out. He's growing in confidence, as is this man, Matti Zagar. 2 Super Grand Prix. Once again, he's a rider that's back in the big-time Speedway. And he's more mature and he's looking good. Already made a final so far this year.
His 33rd Grand Prix appearance tonight. Zagar, here's Christoph Kasperzak. He has the experience of 20 GPs under his belt, but has so far struggled this season for any type of consistency. Now, Jere Campbell, what are we going to get from him tonight?
Well, I thought he was going to win last time out in Gothenburg. He was really very professional about the way he went about his business, but don't rule him out tonight. Martin Veselik, effectively his home Grand Prix, of course, is from Slovakia, hasn't been in good form this year, needs to rediscover it here tonight, as does this man, Andreas Johnson, Nigel.
Yeah, it's been a poor campaign so far for Andreas Johnson. Somebody has changed his setup. He's got people in his back room that he trusts, and Freddie Lindgren hasn't been able to build on his first Grand Prix win of last year.
No, he's been disappointing as well. In actual fact, all the 3 Swedes have been disappointing this year so far. And Fredrik Lindgren, without doubt, is a fast rider when he gets top form. Antonio Lindback, we thought he was back to his best out in Gothenburg. He won his first 2 rides and then only got a couple of points from the next 2. So Lindback, another rider that needs to bounce back to top form.
Emil Saifudinov, he is in wonderful form right now. 2 straight wins in the GP. Can he continue that tonight? And Thomas Golub, the leader of the World Championship.
Yeah, didn't have such a good night in Gothenburg, but still came away with a 2-point lead. It's a slender lead, but he will fancy his chances here. Greg Hancock, now he will be a dark horse tonight. He's fit and he likes it here. And he did a pretty professional job by time. I expect him to be amongst the points here tonight.
Yeah, Hancock has had treatment over the last couple of weeks and says that he feels a lot better after his injury 4 weeks ago. Nicky Pedersen, much has been made about his arm injury. He'll be riding through the pain barrier tonight here in Prague.
Beware the wounded animal, I would suggest. He could well be dangerous. Chris Holder, the world champion, of course, back to nearly his best last time out, just a lap away from winning his first Grand Prix. And Holder certainly is much more relaxed about things, and he's looking forward to another big night of Speedway.
Let's go.
So we're getting set for action here, and a beautiful sunny evening here in the Markéta Stadium in Prague. Let's bring you the lineup for the opening 4 heats of the night now.
Tomáš Golub, Niels Christian Iversen,
Super last time out in Gothenburg.
Matej Zagar,
In fine form, looked good in practice.
Emil Saifudinov.
Can he make it 3 on the spin?
Joseph Frank,
The wild card, can he have another fairy tale performance?
Don't rule him out, injury or no injury.
Krzysztof Kasprzak,
Looking for some consistency tonight.
Andreas Jonsson,
Hoping the new setup works for him.
Freddie Lindgren,
Desperate to find some form.
Jere Campbell,
Looking for another win here tonight.
Ty Woffenden,
On the crest of a wave.
Antonio Lindback.
Needs to rediscover the consistency.
Martin Vaselik,
Struggling so far in the series.
Chris Holder,
Nearly back to his best.
Greg Hancock,
And back to fitness after a couple of weeks of treatment. So, that is your lineup for the opening 4 races. The British flags, the UK supporters that have made the journey across today.
Big night for that
the
man,
action.
isn't
Yep.
it? Alex Drimmel in the Grand Prix, of course. He replaces Darcy Ward, and this is his homeland, of course. He's from the Czech Republic, and he'll be desperate to do well, but coming out of gate 4 in the opening race won't be easy. Thomas Golub, of course, 2 points. Times last time out in Gothenburg didn't look like he was very interested, but then he rode absolutely superb in his last heat to get through to the semi-finals and then just missed out. But Yeah, we're all set fair. It's a gorgeous evening. There's a healthy crowd in here tonight in the Marquetta Stadium. Glorious views are up high. We look down on the city. It really is quite a spectacular place to be. And I think we could well be in for some spectacular action. This Grand Prix series so far this year, Nigel, really has been terrific. And I don't see any reason why it can't be again tonight.
Alice Trimmel, who is in for Darcy Ward, and it is ironic, as you said there, Kelvin, that Alice Trimmel comes in at a time when Darcy's injured to replace him at Prague, of all places, where Alice has got his brother Lucas Trimmel in his pits corner tonight as well.
It's a family affair, you know. His father as well is wielding the tools, and of course we could very well see him in the World Cup squad as well.
Yep, the World Cup coming up in June, but the GP is on the way shortly. Opening race of the night coming up. Marek Wojciech is the man with his finger on the button here in the Marquetta Stadium. A good atmosphere as well, a party atmosphere here. It's been a beautiful day in the city of Prague today, and these fans have made their way up the hill here to this Marquetta Stadium venue. And heat number 1, Matti Zegar, who is in the red helmet colour, goes off gate number 1 and looked very quick in practice yesterday.
Yes.
Currently 7th in the World Championship as well.
Yeah, after a disappointing opening round in New Zealand, he came back to top form in Bydgoszcz and then backed it up with another excellent performance in Gothenburg just a couple of weeks ago. I would say that that's the ideal place to start from in your opening ride. Got up to his normal tricks. Just changing his bikes before the opening ride, no surprise there. Track conditions are different from what they experienced yesterday. The amount of rain that fell overnight and into probably up to about 10 o'clock this morning was heavy, very heavy. I would suggest that there's a significant amount more grip actually in the base of the track, so could well be slightly different gearing required for the opening ride.
Yep, looking forward to the first race of the night then here in this, the 4th round of the World Championship at the venue where we'll be back in July for the Speedway World Cup. Thomas Golob is the World Championship leader. This man here in red is Matti Zegar, the Slovenian star, who has had a good start to the season. And here's your lineup for heat number 1. Matti Zegar goes off the inside then in the red helmet colour. Niels Christian Iversen goes off gate number 2 in blue. Thomas Golob, the series leader, he leads Emil Seifudenov and Jarek Campbell by 2 points. He's off gate 3. And Alice Trimmel, the home star, he goes off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. How Golob would dearly love to make a winning start here.
Yeah, it won't be easy, Nigel, because he's got 2 terrors on the inside. They're looking good, they're full of confidence. Big opening ride for Golob here.
He won then here at the Czech Republic Speedway Grand Prix, and Zegar has made a beauty off the inside. Matti Zegar now has the lead. Golob trying to squeeze through, gets the better of Iversen with Alice Trimmel trailing at the back now, but Zegar made a beautiful start off the inside gate, and Golob now has got plenty of speed here. Thomas Golob going into lap 2.
Super opening start there from Zegar. He just crept round the inside. There's plenty of grip there, and he took full advantage of it. Good move in the first corner from Thomas Golob. He crept up the inside because Iversen just drifted off the line, and that allowed the top man from Poland into second place. Alice Trimmel just finding it a little bit tough out the back. Golob moving off the line. It's going to be on the line initially. A lot of grip down there, but Zegar's comfortable out in front.
Yeah, Matti Zegar has extended his lead then going into the last lap of the first race of the night here. Thomas Golob is second. Niels Christian Iversen is third, and Iversen comes up the inside. Down the back straight now. What a move from Niels Christian Iversen.
Done him up the inside. Super move there from the day. Get up the inside and
Trimmel on the back.
Gone from second to last in the last lap. That is a real shocker. Golob looked like he had it all under control, unless he had some sort of mechanical trouble where he lost performance from the motorbike, just drifted off the line, and Iversen initially took advantage, steamed into second place, and then as Golob lost his momentum coming out of the last corner, Trimmel was there to pounce.
Zegar the winner, Iversen was second, Alice Trimmel was third, and Thomas Golob at the back. And it looked there at one stage as though Thomas Golub had plenty of speed, but Iversen was able to pounce up the inside.
Yeah, was he ever?
And then dribble came through as well.
Golub does it on Iversen initially. You see Zagar comfortably in there on the opening lap. Iversen's just off the line there, and Golub just cuts back and right down on the inside. Plenty of grip there where the rain has just softened the base of the track, and he fires himself into second place. Iversen just a little bit out of shape, a little bit uncomfortable going into the first corner. Nothing uncomfortable, of course, about Zagar. He's terrific out in front. Golub in the second place looks comfortable, and then all of a sudden he drifts away from that grip on the inside. Iversen pounces, and then coming out of turn 4, Alex Strimmel also is in on the act and sneaks into third place. Zagar 3 points to his name, though.
A shock already as the series leader trails in last in the opening race of the night, but let's pay credit to Matti Zagar. Now all eyes on Nicky Pedersen here in heat number 2. He goes off gate number 2. He's been having intensive treatment in Denmark over the last fortnight after that horrendous crash in Gothenburg a fortnight ago. He has that broken bone in his arm. Kasper Zak is off the inside in red. Nicky Pedersen, the triple world champion, he goes off gate 2 in blue. Joseph Pepe Frank goes off gate number 3, and Emil Sayfutdinov, the man very much in form, he goes off the outside.
Well, yes, there's some form riders here without question. Nicky Pedersen, Ty Wolfenden and Emil Sayfutdinov really are well and truly battling for this World Championship. Nicky Pedersen, of course, is running 5th in the world at this stage and is desperate to get something out of tonight. Let's see the physiotherapist there keenly looking on. But Emil Sayfutdinov, who comes from the outside, is once again looking to go 3 on the spin here tonight. It's only been done, well, the last time it was done was 2006 with Jason Crump. But Sayfutdinov, who's been inspired so far this year.
Lead number 2, and Pedersen has made a dream start. What a gate from the man who's injured off gate 2 in blue. Nicky Pedersen with the lead. Christoph Kasper Zak second. Pedersen goes wide and Kasper Zak gets close now. Emil Sayfutdinov is third. Now, the big question, can Nicky Pedersen hold on as Sayfutdinov comes through?
Super stuff from Sayfutdinov up in the second place. Pedersen electric away from the tapes, is out in front. Keep your eyes firmly fixed on Emil Sayfutdinov in second place. He's charging hard. Joseph Frank's out the back with Kasper Zak, who really did just leave the door wide open for Sayfutdinov early on in the race. Nicky Pedersen out in front, really going good out in front.
Down the back straight into turns 3 and 4. Pedersen under pressure from Sayfutdinov now. Nicky Pedersen riding with a broken arm into the last lap of heat number 2. He made an absolute jet-propelled getaway. Nicky Pedersen down the back straight. He is on the verge of a dream start to the Czech Republic Speedway Grand Prix. Nicky Pedersen, 3 times world champion, 3 points in the bag, takes his hand off the handlebars as he goes over the line. He's hurting all right, but my word, all the hard work was done from the start. Big 3 points, and he is so courageous. It's Nicky Pedersen with the victory.
It was indeed, and it was a textbook start out of gate 2, and he dominated the race. Emil Sayfutdinov, of course, he came charging through into second place and rode a stormer. Kasper Zak was in a decent position, but got to say that it was all about Pedersen out in front. That was a courageous ride from him.
Certainly was. Nicky Pedersen the winner with Emil Sayfutdinov second, but I did notice as soon as Nicky went over the finish line, he took his hand off the handlebars.
See it again here, Nigel.
What a start.
Clean pair of heels to the opposition going into the first corner. Slams it right down on the curb. He watched that first raid. He knew how important that was to make sure you get that grip coming off of turn 2 on the opening lap. Once again, concentration, the tape's up. Look at the bike. Absolutely sensational into the first corner. Keeps the bike right down low. Kasper Zak does early on, but down in turns 3 and 4 he doesn't, and Emil Sayfutdinov makes his way up into second place. Pedersen feeling the pain, but he's winning races.
Well, these Speedway riders are made of tough stuff. He's got his own physio in the pits there tonight, and treatment in between races. But my word, it helps when you make a start like that. Nicky Pedersen, 3 points from his opening ride. We're up to heat number 3 here, and what a lineup this is now, with Ty Woffenden, who we congratulate on his first ever British title on Monday night at Wolverhampton with a 5-ride maximum, and then blasted away from the start in the final to outpace Scott Nicholls and Chris Harris.
Yeah, it was a very professional performance, wasn't it? And you have to say that he fully deserved it on the night. Scott Nicholls pushed him hard, but Ty Woffenden was the man, and he... yeah, it's terrific. He won his first championship.
He's off the inside in red here, Ty Woffenden. Jarek Hampel goes off gate number 2. A big night for Hampel. He's third, level with Saifudanov before tonight's meeting, but Saifudanov now level on 40 at the top of the World Championship. Freddie Lindgren goes off gate 3, and Andreas Jonsson. Now a big night for the Swedish riders.
Yes.
Lindgren off 3, Jonsson off 4. They have to get their campaign kick-started tonight somehow.
Yeah, they've been disappointing so far this year. Fredrik Lindgren hasn't won a heat yet, which is quite a surprise, and he'll be looking to find some form tonight. Andreas Jonsson, you sense there's all sorts of work going on behind the scenes, but engine changes, he's got new mechanics in the pit, so he'll be keeping his fingers crossed.
Very nervous start, very nervous start. Woffenden's got there into that first turn. Lindgren's chopped up the inside to get the better of Hampel. Woffenden on one wheel down the back straight, just got some grip there. That was unpredictable. He has the lead here, coming through. Jonsson has come through into third now and has got the better of Jarek Hampel. It's Woffenden, Lindgren, Jonsson, Hampel.
It is indeed, and it looks like it's quite rutty on that inside on that first corner, and the riders are having to use it to actually kick them to give them extra speed. And it's the loser there is 100% is Jarek Hampel. He's out the back, out in front. Ty Woffenden takes full advantage of the inside gate. Once again, plenty of grip coming out of turn 2. Certainly having to hang on to the bike. You can see the effects of the rain overnight there. Woffenden dominating this race. The 2 Swedes battling for second and third.
Ty Woffenden then 5 points off the World Championship lead before tonight, but he's going to claim 3 more points to his tally. It is like choppy waters almost going round in the second turn, but coming round to take the checkered flag, Ty Woffenden with his first victory of the evening in his first ride, gets the better there of Freddie Lindgren and Andreas Jonsson. Woffenden and Lindgren teammates at Wolverhampton in the Elite League, of course, and it's a fine win from Ty Woffenden of Great Britain.
Well, he took full advantage of the inside gate. I suggest that will be an advantage at this early stage of the meeting. So much grip on the inside, it's actually rutting up there quite heavily already.
Woffenden the winner, Freddie Lindgren was second, Andreas Jonsson was third. Jarek Hampel trailed in at the back there, and what a ride. This man is oozing confidence right now.
Well, again, you've taken the words out of my mouth, Nige.
Sorry?
He is oozing confidence. A nice textbook start. Hampel desperately tries to get across him and finds himself in the wrong place at the wrong time here. The 2 Swedish riders, initially it's Fredrik Lindgren gets into second place, and then Hampel there doesn't quite know where to go here, decides to allow the bike to run a little bit wider, and then Andreas Jonsson just charges up the inside and relegates him to the back. He'll be frustrated with that, but we know he has the capabilities to get amongst the points later on. But Ty Woffenden, a rider that is absolutely riding out of the top drawer at this stage of the season, out in front, dominating proceedings. Hampel's the one that's the hard luck story here. Look at that. There's the grip on the inside, and Andreas Jonsson takes full advantage of it. Woffenden out in front, the ideal start for him.
And Woffenden is counting down the days to Cardiff and the British Grand Prix. Peter Adams is alongside him in the pit corner there. He's the Wolverhampton team manager, and he's with Woffenden at the GPs this year. And Peter actually was in the pit corner of Bruce Penhall and Ollie Olsen, former world champions as well.
He has plenty of experience at this level. He is a calming influence in the pits without question, and at this stage of the season you have to say he's working for Ty, because he's literally dominating for seasons wherever he goes, and started in fine style here tonight.
There's your lineup for heat number 4 then. Off the inside is Greg Hancock, twice world champion. The reigning world champion, Chris Holder, goes off gate number 2. Martin Vasilik is off 3. Antonio Lindbach goes off the outside. And if you are just joining us and this is your first taste of Grand Prix Speedway, 3 points for a win, 2 for second, 1 for third, nothing for finishing last. The top 8 scorers, after every rider has had 5 rides, go through to the semi-finals here tonight.
Yeah, and if you want to be world champion, that's where you need to be on a regular basis. Consistency in the Grand Prix is vital, and Antonio Lindbach so far this year hasn't managed to do that. Won his first 2 rides in Gothenburg and then really struggled.
Heat number 4. Now, Chris Holder off gate number 2 has done well there. He's hit that first turn. And now Greg Hancock charges up the inside, tries to get the maximum drive coming out of turn number 2. It's Chris Holder who has the lead. Greg Hancock is second. Third place right now in white is Martin Vasilik. And at the back is a very disappointing Antonio Lindback. But Chris Holder, the world champion, kicking on.
Yeah, he really wanted that first corner, Nigel. He just really charged in there and he hustled the bike around the outside of Greg Hancock. And I thought for a moment Hancock was going to be able to use those ruts to get himself to the front, but wasn't able to do so. World champion out in front, full of confidence, scoring plenty of points wherever he rides right now. Antonio Lindback, he's tailed off. He is nowhere. But Chris Holder out in front, looking comfortable.
Chris Holder then, who rides for Torun in Poland and with the Pool Pirates in the British Elite League as well, kicking on down that back straight, rides regularly in the Swedish League as well. Chris Holder, he's got a packed schedule, and here tonight in Prague, he's opened up with a victory. It's Chris Holder from Greg Hancock in second place. Martin Vasilik came in third, and I can't believe that Antonio Lindback had a properly functioning bike there. He was so slow at the back. Well, quite clearly he's got to get back to the pits and make some changes.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. He looked uncomfortable, and I suggest conditions have just didn't suit him at all. But Holder out in front, you could just see how confident he was. He really wanted it in the first corner. Chris Holder, the race winner. Hancock was second. Martin Vasilik was third. The race winners so far then, after one ride each, Holder, Pedersen, Zagar and Wolfenden. Yeah, super stuff from the world champion there, Chris Holder. It was all about the desire to get to the first corner then. He comes out of gate 2 and he knows he's got a really professional rider on the inside of him, Greg Hancock there, but he leans all over him as they get to that first corner. Holder runs a little wide, and I thought just for a moment that Hancock might be able to exploit those ruts on the inside and fire himself to the front, but he can't. Vasilik's back in third place with Antonio Lindback at the back. But look at Holder, he really wanted that. He makes that gate 2 work for him. He's a little vulnerable coming off the first corner, but he winds it on. And then out in front, the world champion really did look very comfortable indeed. And he wins in fine style.
Well, in Heat 2, it was all about the big question over Nicky Pedersen. How will that forearm stand up after that horrific crash last time out at Gothenburg? Pedersen went from the blue gate, and all eyes would be on that gate there. He had to hold off Kazbazak from the inside, but right from the start, it was Pedersen. He really wanted that lead early on. He whole shots from the start. Saifudinov pushed his way into second. He managed to nerf Kazbazak just outside at the start of lap 2. But it was all Pedersen. Nicky Pedersen managed to make the flyer off the line, and the man from the blue gate was absolutely unstoppable out in Prague. He wanted to set out his stall nice and early and show that his injuries weren't going to hold him back one bit at the MITAS Czech Republic Stadium. So Pedersen, the winner in fine style, first time of asking. Then Heat 3, all eyes were on Ty Wolfenden. Ty Wolfenden went from the red gate. How would the young Brit, fresh from winning his first British Championship, of course, fare in his first time of asking at the MITAS Stadium? Well, Wolfenden whole shot, got straight through, pushed Hampels wide slightly, but nothing out of the ordinary for Wolfenden. Tough, scrappy racer that he is, comes all the way through. Freddie Lindgren pushes his way into second from the white gate as well, and Johnson was forcing all his way through on Freddie Lindgren for third. Wolfenden there just gives Hampel a slightest little nudge, pushes him out wide, and Lindgren in the white helmet doesn't need asking twice, doesn't need inviting through twice, as Ty Wolfenden finds the grip, lofts the front wheel, but manages to keep it all under control, and from there Ty Wolfenden was absolutely flying. Freddie Lindgren, all he could do was watch, and towards the end it was Andreas Johnson who finished third. Here are the standings then, and Holder is in first, then Pedersen, then Zagar, Wolfenden and Hancock all the way round, down to Saifudinov in sixth, with Everson sitting at the top 8. Let's go down then to the track then, and Kelvin and Nigel.
So heat number 5 coming up then. Lindback off the inside will be desperate to put right his disappointing opening ride. We got Matti Zagar, who's a winner first time out, and looked very quick in practice yesterday as well. Freddie Lindgren now in yellow has had a poor year by his own standards, but he has said in the build-up to this meeting he just feels that one race win in the Grand Prix could install some confidence and could allow him to kickstart his season. That's what he's looking for.
Yeah, well, he's looking for stepping stones, isn't he? You know, one race win leads to another one, leads to a semi-final, and all of a sudden the confidence comes flooding back into you and you believe that you can be successful. Antonio Lindback almost certainly has changed his bike. They're just adjusting the chain there. When you do the first practice start, it does tend to go a little bit slack, so you don't want them to go into the race and drop a chain, so they just take the slack out of the chain before they go up to tapes. Lindback needs a race here. He needs to take advantage of the inside gate. That has been working well in the first opening 4 heats, and Zagar did when his opening ride, but Lindback now needs to get something out of this race for sure.
Heat number 5 then is coming up. Here's your lineup for heat number 5 then. Antonio Lindback goes off the inside with he's still yet to score a point. Matti Zagar goes off 2. Christoph Kasperzak is off gate number 3, and Freddie Lindgren off the outside then in the yellow helmet colour. This is heat number 5. A reminder to you newcomers as well, welcome along to Speedway, Grand Prix Speedway, and just have to emphasise that every point you score throughout the course of a meeting it goes towards your final total over the 12 rounds of the Grand Prix series. So even if you're having a bad night, you've got to fight for every single point, because you never know what it might mean at the end of the season. This is heat number 5 then here. Round 4, it's the MITAS Czech Republic FIM Speedway Grand Prix. And Zagar's made a great start off gate number 2. Matti Zagar in the blue helmet colour. Lindgren has come through. Lindback's at the back, and there's a battle for second here. Lindgren is in the yellow helmet colour, and Kasperzak's in white, and he has got that second place right now. But Kelvin, Matti Zagar, we said his increased schedule going back to British Speedway with Bellevue has boosted his early season form, and he is absolutely flying here now.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Matti Zagar out in front. Kasperzak's chasing hard in second place, but that was an excellent start from gate 2. He's fast out in front, looking great. Antonio Lindback completely beaten up coming off the first corner, and he's tailed off once again out the back. That's desperate for the Swede. Kasperzak looks better here, Nigel. He's having a real good go in second place, but Zagar once again riding a steady line around the inside, and at this stage it looks like he could well go back-to-back wins.
Zagar looks super quick here then in heat number 5. Matti Zagar, who had 28 points before tonight. His best round was in Bydgoszcz, where he scored 14 points. He's got plenty of support here in Prague, has time to look over his shoulder and takes the checkered flag. Super ride from Matti Zagar, 3 points for him. And Antonio Lindback, concerns for him once again, because when he went to the back after the early stages of that race, he trailed in well and truly.
Well, he just has no confidence in the track conditions at all, and you could see he just was all over the place in the first corner.
Matti Zagar the winner, with Christoph Kasperzak second. Freddie Lindgren was third. Lindback at the back, and now Zagar the clear leader. 2 rides, 2 wins. Great stuff from Matti Zagar.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. That was a fabulous effort once again. He's started in fine style in his opening ride from the inside gate. Antonio Lindback there, just so you can see the way he's just trudging back to his pit bay, clearly desperately unhappy about things. Zagar, though, he's the absolute opposite of that. He's enjoying himself. He's into that first corner. He's really challenging the track. He's attacking the track, and he's taking full dividends. See it again. Concentrating, the tapes are up. Bike works well to the first corner there, just pulls him nicely into the first corner. He then once again right down on the inside. He's a tall lad, and he really does able to really control the bike nicely. Kasperzak there just getting into the ruts on the inside, working the bike. That's a better ride from him, but Matti Zagar is in fine form. 6 points to his name. It's a great start.
He's appeared in 4 Grand Prix finals in his career, Zagar.
Right.
Yet to win a Grand Prix, but could tonight be the night for Matti?
Well, he's got a good draw, because he's got gate 1 in his last ride, and
contrasting body language here.
Well, huge, isn't it? You know, and just shows you how tough it is out there. You know, Antonio Lindback riding the crest of a wave last year, really finding it tough this.
What a lineup this one is. Heat number 6. The reigning champion Chris Holder is off the inside gate here. Ty Woffenden goes off gate number 2 in blue. Niels Christian Iversen is off gate 3, and Joseph Pepe Frank, the wild card, who has experience in the UK with Berwick, Newcastle and Sheffield. He goes off the outside in yellow. Had a wonderful Grand Prix last year, Frank, the wild card, when he beat world champions, but he struggled in his opening ride.
Yeah, track conditions very different this year, Nigel. I would suggest that it's going to be much more difficult for him. Interesting to see what Ty Woofenden does here, because Holder's full of confidence. Second place would do nicely. Don't want to do anything silly in the first corner now.
So heat number 6 it is, and Woofenden has made a beauty off gate number 2. That was the type of start he made in the British final on Monday. It's Chris Holder second, Niels Christian Iversen third, and Joseph Frank is at the back, but Ty Woofenden has lost control, and he's managed to get it back under control, and Holder is after him here now, going into lap 2.
Well, the bike literally launched away from him underneath him, going into turn 3 on the opening lap. He then clamps it back down. He somehow managed to keep the bike facing in the right direction. Woofenden brilliant away from the tapes. A fantastic start. It's a world champion on the inside of him. He showed no nerves whatsoever. It was a super effort, and he's going great guns out in front. Holder, the world champion, chasing hard. It's tough out there. Conditions are difficult. We'll get better, but at this early stage, you just got to ride really cool, calm and collected.
And if Woofenden gets through this last lap and takes the victory, ladies and gentlemen, Great Britain will have the World Championship leader. Wow. Yes, he will be top of the World Championship standings with this win, albeit early days here in Prague. Ty Woofenden has now 6 points to his name, moves on to 41 Grand Prix points. Golub's on 40, Saifudinov's on 40, Hampel's on 38. So Ty Woofenden leads the World Championship here in Prague tonight after 2 heats.
What a marvellous effort that is.
Woofenden the winner, Holder was second, Iversen third, Frank was at the back. And on the night, Zagar and Woofenden unbeaten, 6 points apiece. That puts Woofenden onto 41 World Championship points.
What a start he made there, Nigel. Coming out of gate 2 with Holder on the inside. He must, well, clearly he's aware that Holder's in good form, but he makes light work of it here. He's clear into the first corner. I'll tell you what, he very nearly threw it away going into turn 3 on the opening lap. When we see that, you'll just see how hard the bike literally leaps away from him as he goes into turn 3 on the opening lap. Looking at the back of him going into the first corner, once again, he's nice and clear. Perfect start from him. But he just has a bit of a moment of concern as he comes into turn 3 on the opening lap, because the bike literally launches underneath him. He gathers himself, gets himself back in front, and rides a terrific rate. Ty Woofenden leading the world. Wow.
Well, we must emphasise that the likes of Hampel and Golub have got a race in hand on Ty, but it is nice for British fans to say, for however long it'll last, that a Great Britain rider is leading the World Championship. So make the most of it, even if it's just for another 60 seconds or so. Golub on a new bike here now, Kelvin.
No surprise there. He had a disappointing opening ride. He was comfortable in second place, and then it all went very wrong, and he ended up out the back. But Hampel also failed to score in his opening ride, Nigel.
Hampel off the inside, Hancock off 2, Pedersen off 3. Golub going off the outside in
Tough
yellow,
race.
and gate number 4 is tough. Let's see how Golub can respond here now on that new bike, and can Pedersen do the work from the start like he did in his opening ride?
Not the ideal conditions for Nicky Pedersen with a broken arm, you know, when it's rutty and a little bit tricky out there. I suspect he would have preferred it to have been nice and slick and smooth, but such as his starting ability, he was electric away from the tapes in his opening ride. He's on gate 2. Look at Hancock and Pedersen, how close they are. The start marshal's going to hardly be able to get between them. Really are very tight on the start line indeed.
3 world champions, Hancock, Pedersen, Golub, in this race. Heat number 7, moment at the start. The referee has allowed the race to go on, and it's a super start from the inside for Jarek Hampel. Hancock is second now, Pedersen is third, and Golub is at the back, but not for long. Oh, yes, he is still at the back. Pedersen closed the door there, but the lead here is with Jarek Hampel, and definitely in that race, Nicky Pedersen just moved at the start, and the referee allowed the race to continue here.
Yeah, Hampel's out in front. He looks good. He was failed to score first time out, but he's once again the inside gate works well. well. Greg Hancock settles in second place. Nicky Pedersen was very eager on the start line, but he's hanging on in there in third place. Thomas Gollop's having a nightmare. The second bike isn't working. He's tailed off and he's finding it difficult. But his compatriot, Jarek Hampel, out in front, really determined, winding it on, looking like he's set for a race win.
Jarek Hampel kicking on then, going into the last lap of this one. And this will put Greg Hancock second, Nicky Pedersen third, and Thomas Gollop has pulled up and may not even complete the race. Jarek Hampel takes the checkered flag. Greg Hancock second, Nicky Pedersen was third. Interesting to see the start again. Marek Wojciech, the referee here tonight. Gollop has just finished the race, by the way. But Jarek Hampel, a textbook start to finish, he had the race under control.
Well, track conditions are difficult. We're not seeing many overtakes because of that. But you've still got to concentrate. You've got to grind the points away. But Hampel out in front, that's a great comeback.
Hampel the winner with Hancock second, Pedersen third. Hampel moves on to 3 points now and is level with Woofenden at the top of the World Championship on 41 points. Super start. It's the type of track conditions, Kelvin, where even though Zagar and Woofenden have won their opening 2 rides, here's the start again, but it's hard to predict a winner from a grand final on a track like this tonight.
But at this early stage, yes, because the inside part of the track is so much superior to the mid and outside track. There is no racing line there yet, and you're just taking advantage of the inside part. Got to say that Gollop really was out of sorts in this one, and he's failed to score from his opening 2 rides. Great comeback from Hampel, took full advantage of the inside gate, charges into the first corner and dominates it. Hancock there in second place. He's had a steady start, 4 points to his name. Gollop just momentarily looked like him. There's the movement from Nicky Pedersen. He's a little bit out of shape and off balance, and he pays for that. But still, nonetheless, he comes away with a point, and a point is very welcome for him.
It's perfectly understandable that he's anxious at the start, isn't it? He's got a broken arm.
Well,
riding with a broken arm, it's perfectly understandable that he's anxious at the start of a race.
Yeah, you can sympathise with him. Track conditions are tricky, and he won't want to be battling too hard through the traffic. Here we see the tablets, 4 points to Pedersen, that's okay. 3 points, great comeback from Jarek Hampel. Never rule him out. He means business, he's the real deal.
Well, it's 4 points that Nicky wouldn't have got if it had stayed at home.
It's already paying dividends. The hard work getting here, already paying off.
Here's the lineup. Alice Trimmel goes off the inside. Home favourite, of course. Emil Saifutinov goes off gate number 2 in blue. Andreas Jonsson, only 1 point to his name off 3. Martin Vasulik goes off the outside in yellow.
Apart from Emil Saifutinov, he had gate 4 in his opening ride. He did well to get 2 points. The other 3 riders really were struggling in their opening ride.
Heat number 8. And the man in yellow, Martin Vasulik, has been left at the gate, but Saifutinov has made a jet-propelled start. Super gate from Emil Saifutinov. Here comes Jonsson up the inside now of Alice Trimmel. Martin Vasulik is on the infield, his bike packed up at the start. But Emil Saifutinov, who has 2 Grand Prix wins under his belt in the last 2 rounds, is looking good here in the blue helmet.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't very often make starts. We just see the rear chain came off from the start line and the bike over-revved and he didn't go anywhere. Martin Vasulik's luck doesn't get any better, failing to score here, of course. Saifutinov out in front. He had a good start from gate 2, having a much easier ride of it. He normally comes charging through the traffic in spectacular fashion. Andreas Jonsson in second place, not really that quick with Trimmel back in third, but the young Russian will be more than happy to be out in front. Looking like he's going to cruise to another race victory here.
Yep, Emil Saifutinov down the back straight. He's going to make it 5 points out of 6 here now, and he is going to lead the World Championship. Emil Saifutinov, 2 rides, 5 points out of a possible 6. That will do nicely for him. Andreas Jonsson second, Alice Trimmel was third. There's a few Russians in the crowd here tonight, and they are delighted to see their man in such great form. Of course, a fortnight since he lost his father. Martin Vasulik here, well, on his way back to the pits after a drop chain at the start.
Well, desperate start for Vasulik, 1 point from 2 rides. He's put himself under a lot of pressure. Going to have to pick it up in his upcoming races, but Saifutinov, he was terrific out in front.
And here are the standings now after 2 rides each. The race winners are Zagar and Woofenden, 6 points out of 6, and Holder and Saifutinov on 5.
Well, Emil's looking terrific. He's full of confidence. Losing his father 2 weeks ago doesn't appear to have affected him. I would suggest that he's using him as an inspiration. Tapes are up, and away they go. Martin Vasilek, the rear chain snaps on the start line. That really is a gutting experience. Meanwhile, out in front, the young Russian rocket is roaring on to another victory here, looking good. Got to say, Andreas Johnson comes steaming up the inside on the opening lap and relegates Alice Drimmel back to third place. But Emil Sayfutdinov, can he make it 3 on the spin? That really would be a fantastic effort at this early stage.